Lessons learned from Team2 Australia. The purpose of this presentation is to show the CISO and the Australian leadership an honest explanation of the incidents that occurred leading to the summit. Since these events have reached public attention, our Five Eyes Nation members may be losing the trust of the people. We aim to solve this loss of reputation and will define the plans that should be implemented for security hardening. This 5 to 10 minute video will move quickly through the details and draw a thorough explanation of the topics such as the following: results of evidence items, how operations and communications can be secure, information sharing with and without source attribution, and all lessons learned to aid in daily operations, additions, modifications, the recovery process, BCP, and managing patches. On the day of the summit, the information security team responded to anomalous network activity on the agency's server. It was a phishing attack whereby the attacker sent a malware via an email with an Excel file attached. An employee clicked on the link which enabled the attacker's script to run. Then the script encrypted a folder where very sensitive files were saved. File became inaccessible and the attacker asked a ransom of $500 in Bitcoin to decrypt the folder. The investigation has revealed that the attacker's computer IP was 192.168.10.201, and the victim's computer had an IP address of 192.168.10.112. All the files used for an attack are located at URL international nationstate.cyb670 WordPass WP content uploads. We got all the information that we needed to decrypt the files in the uploads folder. Contents of the uploads folder: info.txt, attackscript.txt, CYB670 image.jpg, and ransomware.exe. The info.txt file in the uploads folder provided the following: the location of the unlocker program file, the program they used, our secret, to attach the unlocker program to the image file, and the password hash. Decrypting the password and the file folder. First, the password hash was decrypted using the OrphaCrack tool. Next, we used this decrypted password to extract the unlocker.exe program from the CYB670 image.jpg file. We had to access the attacker's server using the URL on the 172.21.51.199 to get the decryption key. Finally, we were able to decrypt the folder and made it available to the staff. The folder decryption key as obtained from the attacker's command and control server, shown in the red box. How operations and communications can be executed in a secure fashion. Recommendations. We highly recommend the use of HTTPS protocols for secure communication. For file transfer, the FTPS protocol is more secure and hence highly advised. Never enable users to execute .exe files. And lastly, scan emails with attachments and filter out those messages that contain executable links. For information sharing between nations and private business operations, we recommend that all communications among the alliance nations should be conducted via VPN. We also recommend the use of second-factor authentication to access the secure network. We also need to set up an alert like YARA rule to monitor and prevent similar attacks. And lastly, strong information security in all alliance nations is key, not source attribution. All lessons learned that can be brought back to business units to incorporate into daily operations. All the 5 nations in the alliance should agree to adopt a strong information security policy. Information security is a continuous process and the policy should be reviewed each year. Each hardware and software supply chain should be revisited every year, and the weakest link should be closed, as attackers will use that link. Recalling the threats we received. Any existing threat needs to be examined and evaluated. Any threat against critical business functions need immediate attention. The CISO office needs to inventory and assign value to each IT asset, and identify and evaluate risks to maintain the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of their information assets. What the CISO should know in the case of an event. The CISO should be the first person to be notified when a security incident occurs. The incident response plan must be immediately activated. The scope of the impact of the problem should be identified. The available options to contain the incident must be presented. And the need to regularly update the CISO with the status of the incident. Indicators that could be used to protect critical systems. Indicators like unusual network activity, phishing emails, reports from end users, alert notifications from the IDS, any system slowdown or inability to access files, any other unusual activity or system behavior. The Business Continuity Plan, or the BCP, to discover setbacks that may happen once an event occurs. The BCP needs to determine the potential impact of a security incident, identify an emergency coordinator and/or team with defined roles and responsibilities, implement an exercise or drill to test the plan. You should regularly schedule backups to restore critical information or systems in a case of loss of data due to cyber attack, and establish an emergency communications plan and revise periodically. Additions and modifications. Information system security is a continuous process. The IT security policy needs to be revisited regularly. Additions and modifications can be made with the change in technology. Regular exchange of information with software and hardware vendors is needed to identify and fix vulnerabilities. Aiding the operations tempo of the business units. In the recovery process, how is the incident contained and eradicated? The incident was contained after pulling the victim's computer off the network, and the issue was resolved after investigating the network traffic, which gave very important information about the attack. What work was performed during recovery? We created a Yara rule to get an alert when similar traffic is received from the attacker's computer. We also restricted the user's access rights. Users are no more able to run executable files. Areas where the incident response team was effective. The incident response team was effective in quickly containing and resolving the incident. It was also able to analyze the network traffic and able to find important information from the attacker's command and control server. Areas where we need improvement. Users training to deal with phishing attacks. Most users still click on every link that they get in an email. And we also need to limit user access rights. Which security controls failed? Included monitoring tools. Well, no alert was received by the iSecurity team. Email security failed to red flag the .exe file attachment. How can we improve those controls? Set up an alert for any executable files received by mail. And in the IDS system, create a Yara rule or other similar monitoring system that should be implemented. How can we improve the security awareness programs? Mandatory system security awareness training for all staff should be given. This training should be given every year, especially as a reminder. And new employees shouldn't be given user accounts before they take the information security training. What were the current operation system vulnerabilities that were leveraged to execute the attack? Well, higher level access was given to regular users, and the operating system or the firewall didn't block the executable. How can managing patches and basic operation systems security enhance security from known threats? Patches and update fixes are known vulnerabilities. So we need to have regular system scans to identify computers that don't have the latest security updates. This concludes our lessons learned.